Hello, welcome to Monday's Not Today. I'm Al Boo. Thank you for being here. I hope you had a good weekend. Should we see what is on the show for your Monday then? First, we're going to head to Nottingham City Hospital as Vicky McClure's Our Dementia Choir kick off an action week.
It's that family feeling of going through something with a group of people, being able to sit in a room and share those experiences with each other is just so important.
We're also going to be hearing about calls for action to support benefit claimants at risk of self-harm and suicide. That follows the death of Nottingham woman Philippa Day 6 years ago. That was caused in part by stresses relating to her benefit case. MPs are calling for a law change, and we'll hear all about that in just a moment. We're also going to be talking to the organiser of the biggest pop culture event in the East Midlands ahead of its arrival next month. MCon will come back to the Motorpoint Arena for 2 days in June and feature legends from Star Trek, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones and loads more. Its creator Lee Wallace will be here on the sofa to tell us all about it. And in sport, we'll hear reaction from Notts head coach Stuart Maynard after their season came to an end, alongside their promotion hopes with playoff defeat to Wimbledon.
And we concede a very sloppy goal, and in these big games you just can't give a team of Wimbledon's quality at home with their defensive record a leg up, and that's what we've given them today.
We'll also hear from Forest boss Nuno Espirito Santo after 3 huge points at West Ham, put them in the mix again for a Champions League place, heading into the final weekend of the season.
We have to make a conscious extra effort for the final game, and the boys are going to be first recover and then going to be fired up to play the last one.
There you go, all that and loads more coming up just for you. First though, this week is Dementia Action Week. It's a national project aimed at increasing and understanding dementia and Alzheimer's disease. The aggressive conditions can cause memory loss and disrupt perception and lead to mood changes. But over the next 7 days, events have been organised all across Notts and the country to increase understanding of the conditions and also to make people aware about the number of cases currently going undiagnosed. Today, Vicky McClure's Dementia Choir was at Nottingham City Hospital to sing the praises of the Trust and the carers, and Jack Sims was there.
Bringing people together, one song at a time. Today, patients and staff at Nottingham City Hospital joined in the chorus of Nottingham's Our Dementia Choir, marking the opening of 7 days of activities for Dementia Action Week. According to the Alzheimer's Society, 1 in 3 people with dementia in the UK are doing so undiagnosed. This is something Action Week wants to make more people aware of. Closer to home though, Nottingham University Hospital Trust estimates between 13 and 15,000 people locally or are being treated for forms of the condition. Today, the Trust was joined by other charities, not only to show their advances in providing support for those living with the diseases, but to train all staff to identify early symptoms.
So the first thing we want to push is that all staff members, all 18,000 of them, needs to be trained to a tier 1 level, which is introduction to dementia. The awareness would include all the patients, and it includes early signs and late signs. So they can spot people in the corridors, they can spot people in the shops, around the hospital, even the carers that are coming for different reasons.
But it was a special performance by Vicky McClure's Our Dementia Choir that got everybody moving. NHS research has repeatedly shown music helps those with dementia in many ways, including improving mood, behaviour and memory. But for Jess Johnson, the music and the choir also helps the carers too.
And so we tend to not only look after the choir because, it's the carers that need almost more support than the choir do themselves. Yes, the music therapy side of it is great for the choir, but it's that community feeling, it's that family feeling of going through something with a group of people who are all experiencing a similar situation, and being able to sit in a room and share those experiences with each other is just so important.
This is just the first day of Action Week activities, with the iconic choir hoping the whole nation will sing off the same song sheet when understanding dementia. Jack Sims for Notts TV.
Now, it's time to talk about calls for a change to the law after a report found the deaths and harm to hundreds of vulnerable benefit claimants could have been prevented by the Department for Work and Pensions. That includes Nottingham woman Philippa Day. She died aged 27 back in 2019 after a deliberate overdose of insulin caused a brain injury. A coroner later said 28 errors were made in managing her benefits case, with added stress significantly increasing her risk of self-harm. Now calls for change have been made, and our local democracy reporter Joe Lockett joins us to tell us more about it. Joe, so where was the report published then?
Yeah, so it's been drawn up basically by a cross-party work and pensions committee. So that includes MPs from the Conservative Party, Labour Party, and many others who come together to sort of discuss and scrutinise the work of the DWP. And it set up this inquiry called the Safeguarding Vulnerable Claimants in July 2023. And that followed concerns such as Philippa Day's case, that safeguarding practices, weren't adequate enough. Claimants were experiencing serious harm, death by suicide and starvation, so really serious stuff. But the publication was delayed by the general election in 2024. And that was in July that year, so it was delayed by that, and then it was reopened in October that year, and it's taken up until just last week to finally get the report out with its conclusions and recommendations.
So as far as the report goes then, what are the main findings?
Yeah, so the main findings are the deaths of 274 people since 2015 were investigated internally by the DWP. So the DWP opens these investigations when there's been allegations of mishandling of these cases. So that's a significant number of internal investigations into cases. And this report says many of these deaths could have been prevented by the DWP with better safeguarding, a better culture. So it said, getting people back into work and cost effectiveness was prioritised over genuine care for those who were vulnerable. So really damning statements in this report. And it also says the DWP isn't currently required by law to ensure safeguarding of vulnerable people, even though it's dealing with some of the most vulnerable people in society, you could argue. And the report recommends this is imposed. So there's a sort of legal requirement for the DWP to make sure these people are getting the care that they need ultimately.
Okay. Now Philippa Day, it was her case that was one of the main reasons that this report came about, isn't it? Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so as you mentioned at the start of our chat, she was only 27 when she died, and the coroner, found there was 28 errors made by the DWP and Capita, which was assessing some of the claims being made, and it basically said, there was a significant increase in risk. The stress of all these things, increased her risk of self-harm and ultimately, sadly, suicide. Her sister, Imogen, spoke to us in 2023, my colleague, Anna, who was an LDR at the time. She, told us the DWP should be rebuilt, basically, involving the claimants and those who are vulnerable and those who have been let down as well, to make sure, when people's claims are being discussed or decided, if money's being reduced, that these people are checked on, basically, because in this report there's a lot of cases where people were sort of benefits were cut because they weren't engaging, but they weren't engaging because of mental health problems or whatever else they might have been dealing with at the time. That's the reason why they weren't engaging. So this needs to be checked on, which is what the report argues.
So off the back of this then, what's the government said it's going to do?
Yeah, so the government tells me that it's been consulting on a new safeguarding approach at the minute. So it sounds like it's trying to involve, some of the claimants, some of the people who have been let down in the past, the families, importantly, of people who have sadly lost their lives. And and it says it's reviewing its overall approach, and it's set up a multidisciplinary team to bring all this together in the future to draw up a new approach and potentially new legislation to make sure vulnerable claimants are protected.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Right, in other news now, and 2 men have been arrested after a woman died in a collision on the A52 in Beeston. Emergency services were called to Derby Road, just by the Nurseryman pub, just before 10:30 on Friday evening. There were reports of a crash between a car and a pedestrian, and a woman in her 70s was pronounced dead at the scene. 2 men, aged 26 and 43, were arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving. Police say anybody who has dashcam footage of the incident should get in touch by calling them on 101. Notts Police have also launched an appeal after a man was seen trying car doors on a residential street in Worksop. Officers launched the investigation after reports of the man trying the doors on Albert Street in the early hours of April the 12th. They were also told similar attempts had been made earlier that month, and they've released this doorbell footage in the hope of tracking them and said if you have any information, call them on 101. Now, coming up, we're going to meet the creator of the largest pop culture event in the East Midlands. It's coming back to Nottingham next month, and we've got all your sports, including Forest and County as well. Hello, welcome back to Monday's show. I'm Al Booth, thank you for being here. This is what's happening in Notts today, and 2 unsafe bridges at a derelict Mansfield department store could soon be torn down to make way for a new regeneration project. Plans have been submitted for the Beals department store on the corner of Queen Street and Stockwell Gate to demolish 2 bridges that connect the store with the Four Seasons shopping centre. Now, if that's approved, the plans will mark another milestone in the council's £30 million plan to turn the building into a new public sector site that would also act as its new headquarters in the future. And the multi-million pound expansion of a Nottingham secondary school could be approved this week to solve a shortage of classroom spaces. Nottingham City Council wants to develop 12 extra classrooms at Bluecoat Woollerton Academy to allow the school's pupil numbers to grow by 300 places, which will take the total number of pupils above 1,000. 3 new full-time and another 7 part-time staff members would also be hired. The plans will be decided by the council on Wednesday. Documents say the school is significantly oversubscribed. Now, it's that time of year again. The biggest Comic Con in the East Midlands is coming back next month. MCon is back at the Nottingham Arena for a weekend of celebrity guests, cosplayers, attractions, traders, and film and TV props as well. You'll see actors from Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, Game of Thrones, to name just a few. Creator and CEO Lee Wallace is here to tell us all about it. So thanks for finding time, because I imagine it's quite busy as you get just like 3 weeks to go, isn't it? So,
yeah, a little bit busy, a little bit, but I can't complain.
What's it looking like this year? Because is this year, I say this every year and I get the year wrong, year 13?
You got it wrong again, but it's year 12, so close, damn it.
Year 12, what's it looking like?
Yeah, it's looking good. We've got quite a few new things that we're going to introduce this year. We try to do something at least 2 or 3 new things every year. So I don't want to go into what they might be, but people will see new stuff as soon as they walk in this year. Okay. There's a couple of things that we're quite happy that we've got. We've got. Do you remember the TV show Red Dwarf?
Yeah, of course.
They used to fly around in a little green spaceship called Starbug. Right. Now we've got a kind of van-sized prop that was used in the AA adverts. Now the guy that owns that is bringing that along. That's going to be outside in Bolero Square. For people to see and take a photo with, which will be pretty cool. And we've got a huge 15-foot Minion statue right in the middle of the reception. That's going to be pretty cool. And there's going to be lots of other new things like different selfie areas, and we've introduced arcade this year, so people will be able to go and play all their favourite arcade games in the arcade as well, which should be cool as well. So yeah.
I mean, this has grown so much from. I mean, it's grown and changed venue anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
From when it first started out. But did you ever think it would get to be the biggest in the East Midlands?
No.
Did you ever want it to be?
No. I mean, when we first started out, we just originally, well, it wasn't even our idea. Credit where credit's due. This was all down to Danny John Jules, Cat from Red Dwarf.
Right.
Long story short, I used to be a photographer, took a few photos for Danny, and Danny was like, you should do an event. And I was like, no. But eventually we did. He talked me into it, and then and now we're here. So it's like,
okay, so it's all his fault.
Literally, yeah.
Has he been there at every one? He's there quite often, isn't he?
I think pretty much every one. I spoke to him I spoke to him the other day, but 2 weeks ago I gave him a call and I was like, are you coming to this year's MCon? He's like, yeah, of course. When is it? I was like, all right, okay. So yeah, he'd already booked it in his mind that he'd be there. So yeah.
So you get to see loads of stars. I mean, obviously Danny John Jules. You've like Warwick Davis is there. He was there last year.
Yeah, Warwick's coming along again. I was really pleased actually. Warwick enjoyed it so much he asked to come back. So that's always nice when you get somebody that's a reputation like Warwick to be able to to say yes, you can come back. That's a big thing for us. But this year we've got the new director of the new Marvel show that's going to be hitting the screen soon, which is going to be called. It's something to do with the character Vision from the Marvel world. I can't remember what it's called, but he's the director of that. And we've also got one of the co-stars coming along. So, before they've been in this huge show, we've got them coming to MCon as well.
Wow.
Although they were both in the TV show 12 Monkeys, so they're pretty big in their own right anyway.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, but think about it. So you see these stars you see on the screen and you see on TV and film, and it's not just sci-fi, is it? It's loads of different things.
No, it's absolutely not sci-fi.
Yeah.
We don't brand ourselves as a branded sci-fi convention. We're more of a pop culture convention.
Yeah.
Just to emphasise that, we've got Charlie from Casualty come in. So it's like there's going to be lots of people there that. People come along to see that they always see on TV, or that it's not just about stormtroopers walking around.
No, well, that's the thing. But even so, you have like Johnny Five from
exactly,
and even though they're kind of. I don't know if they're the stars of the film or the replica models or whatever. You still get I'm 48 and I still go.
Johnny Five. He's a local boy actually. It was made by a guy called Ryan from over Hucknall Way, and it's complete replica, like screen replica of the actual thing. He moves. He talks. It's amazing.
Right, so probably should say when it is and where it is and how to get tickets.
Yeah, June 7th and 8th. You can get tickets direct from the Motorpoint Arena website, or you can look at our website, mcon.co.uk.
Fantastic, we'll see you there.
All right, mate.
Nice one. Right, let's look at sport now, shall we? It's a big weekend, good and bad. We'll start with the good. Forest can head into the final game of the season, knowing they can still mathematically qualify for next season's Champions League. It's after their important 2-1 win away at West Ham on Sunday, and that means a win over rivals Chelsea this Sunday could get their place amongst Europe's elite if other results also go their way. Speaking after yesterday's game, head coach Nuno Espirito Santo said securing the 3 points was vital going into the final weekend.
I think we started really well the game, really well. Previous games, a lot of things have been happened to us. Today I think we go back to the things that we do well, and it's a big difference when you score first. But overall, a very good performance. All of us, we have to make a conscious extra effort for the final game, and the boys are gonna be first recover and then gonna be firing up to play the last one. Yeah, it's gonna be beautiful. This is what we wanted from to achieve, having the chance to fight in the city ground with our fans, bouncing and bringing the noise against a very good team. It's going to be special. It's going to be really special.
Less exciting for Notts County at the weekend though. They lost their second leg of the League Two playoff to Wimbledon. Josh Neville scored the only goal of the game in West London, and Wimbledon win the two legs 2-0 on aggregate, which means another season of League Two football for Stuart Maynard's side next year. After the full-time whistle, the Magpies' head reflected on an overall disappointing end.
First and foremost, I'm devastated for the fans. They were absolutely incredible today, and they've been incredible all season, backing the boys up and down the country, spending their hard-earned money to support the team and got behind them. So I'm devastated for them first and foremost. I thought we started the game very bright around the edge of their box, was camped in there quite a lot, with a few efforts here and there, with no real openings, and then we conceded a very sloppy goal. And in these big games, you just can't give a team of Wimbledon's quality at home with their defensive record a leg up, and that's what we've given them today. So we made it a very uphill battle, and then in the second half I think the frustration creeps in, and then I don't think we kind of stick to the way that we played in the first half by moving the ball side to side.
Nottingham Panthers forward Matt Alfaro believes the club are building a winning culture after he signed a new contract. 28-year-old's second season at the Motorpoint was confirmed last week, and he spoke about the special feeling of winning the playoffs last month.
I think that's a testament to the whole organisation, top down. Even from day one since I've been here, it was kind of eye-opening. I was like, okay, this is somewhere I could really enjoy playing and coming to the rink every day. And so even if we're struggling on the ice, the off ice is still a key part. It exceeded my expectations. I mean, obviously with us winning at the end, that was really special. But even like you said, beginning of the year, if we're struggling a bit, I think they were still behind us, and definitely exceeded it. Said I was kind of speechless. I mean, I still just the whole environment, the rink, the fans staying after the game for however long they did, and then even in the square after, was just fantastic. And
in rugby, Nottingham extended their winless run to 3 championship matches after being thrashed by Coventry in the West Midlands. The hosts scored 11 tries, 5 came from David Opoku-Forger to seal an impressive 67-5 point victory over the Archers. Nottingham managed 1 try, wasn't converted, and the result leaves them in 7th place with just 2 games left. In netball, Forest got back to winning ways with an impressive victory over the Cardiff Devils. Chelsea Pitman's side travelled to the Welsh capital on Friday, knowing they needed a victory following their home defeat to Manchester Thunder 5 days earlier. They got the win through a 77-53 point victory, which leaves them 5th in the Super League. They've now won 5 and lost 5 of their opening 10 games. Next up, a visit to London Mavericks on Saturday afternoon. Right, it's time for your picture of the day now. This is a lovely cuddly one. Lisa Offcraft sent some signets. Thank you for that. You can send us yours as well, Notts_TV. Your weather, it's been a bit cloudy today. Cooler one, isn't it? 7 degrees overnight into tomorrow. It's going to be a warmer one, but still equally as cloudy. Highs of 21 degrees. And then on Wednesday, pretty much a combination of today and tomorrow, really. Highs of 19 degrees, a little bit of sun peeking through. Right, thank you for being here with me today. We will be back with Notts Today tomorrow. Mark Dennison will be sitting here taking you through it all, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.